Jumpin Kid feels really out of place coming out at the end of 1990. It has the look and feel of a game that would have been below average in 1988. At this point, it feels hopelessly behind the times. The game has a title, Jak to Mame no Ki Monogatari, which would be a Japanese translation of the title Jack and the Beanstalk. And that's the plot of the game. Jack had some magic beans, a big stalk grew out of the ground, and now he's climbing it and collecting treasure. There's also a giant's castle at the top, complete with kidnapped princess, because you can't have a platformer without a kidnapped princess. Jumpin Kid has over a dozen stages, and for the first 12 you're making your way up the beanstalk. Once you reach the giant's castle, there's a straight path that you can take to confront the giant, but you can also double back on the path if you want to collect treasure. Why would you want to collect treasure? Well, it gives you a higher score, and that's it. In Jumpin Kid, A jumps and B attacks, and to attack you throw one of the magic beans. For most enemies, it will just stun them for a second, and that can cause them to drop an item and possibly allow you to run through them. You have a health bar, but it's a bit ambiguous. It starts in the middle of the bar, and it takes more than one hit for you to lose a unit from that bar. You can collect hearts that are always just found sitting out on the stages, and it's possible to increase your health to the top of that bar. Almost every enemy drops something when hit. Usually it's just a coin, but sometimes it's a power-up. And there's two kinds of these. Getting a bean power-up will increase the strength of your shots. Since your shots stun normal enemies with just one bean, the only place that this is useful is on bosses. There are also springs that will increase your jump height. This is what you really want, since it will typically shorten how long you have to play stages for. You can power up your shot and your jump twice, but if you're ever hit, you lose all of your power-ups. So you'll almost never have the powered up bean when you get to a boss, and those super jumps don't stick around very long. Most of the stages involve you jumping up a height, and correspondingly, that also means that a lot of stages involve you falling down as you're trying to jump up to a great height. A lot of the levels in Jumpin Kid are based around having tiny platforms, and if the stage is completely vertical, and you miss one of those tiny platforms, you're falling a long way down. Adding to this annoyance is that enemies seem to be placed more to catch you and knock you down than to provide a direct challenge to overcome. And that's assuming you're not in a point where they spawn infinitely. If you find the door in the game, and I do mean the door, you enter it by pressing down and hitting A. The doors at the end of stages you just automatically go into when you defeat the boss. Between stages you'll have bonus levels, and there's 3 different styles of these. One has you moving up and down the left-hand side of the screen, shooting monsters as they spawn. Another has you catching coins that drop down from the top of the screen. And the third and most annoying bonus stage has items dropping from the top of the screen and you have to shoot them as they fall. If you shoot a skull on that bonus stage, then it ends. If you score perfectly on a bonus stage, then a woman appears with a heart to give you. But instead of just getting the reward, you have to climb the stage to get to her. And in each of these mini-games, the first time she appeared, I had trouble getting to her in time because I didn't realize which things I could jump on. The spots that are background objects in one bonus stage are the platforms in another, and vice versa. On stages that scroll horizontally, it's possible to fall off the bottom of the screen, but rather than kill you, it just restarts the stage over again, complete with the in-between stage status screen appearing. It's especially bad on this stage, where the floating platforms that you have to use at the peak to continue on descend off the bottom of the screen. You're only given 1 life in Jumpin Kid, but you have 9 continues with which to beat the game. Jumpin Kid seems to be more annoying than difficult. I had only played the first stage or 2 before this, basically making sure that the cartridge worked after I got it, and playing for my recording, I got to the last boss. So the game has some wild difficulty swings, going from irritatingly difficult to absurdly simple. Unsurprisingly, this game is not remembered in Japan at all. The one person I found who did mention playing it just mentioned how disappointed they were with the game. Jumpin Kid is a mediocre game. And it's not even bad enough to really be memorable. There's just nothing here to get or hold your attention. It's just a filler game that's taking up space, and that's it.